The Stroganoffs, or Stroganoffs, referred to in French as Stroganovs, were a family of highly successful Russian merchants, industrialists, landowners, and statesmen. For the reign of Ivan the Terrible in the 16th century, they were the richest businessmen in the Tsardom of Russia. They financed the Russian conquest of Siberia and Prince Bozarsky's reconquest of Moscow from the Poles. The Stroganov school of icon painting takes its name from them. Peter the Great elevated the Stroganovs into the nobility as barons of the Russian Empire. The last member of the family died in the Stroganov palace in 1923. Origins. The Stroganov family were originally rich Pomor peasants. Fyodor Lukich Stroganov, the progenitor of the family, settled in Solvychegodsk in the late 15th century. Here, his son Aniky Fyodorovich Stroganov opened the Sortons in 1515, which would later become a huge industry. In 1558, Ivan the Terrible granted to Aniky Stroganov and his successors large estates in what was at the time the eastern edge of Russian settlement, along the Kama and Chasovaya rivers. In 1566, at their own request, the lands were included in the Oprichnina, the territory within Russia under the direct authority of Ivan the Terrible, seizing lands from the local population by conquest and colonizing them with incoming Russian peasants. The Stroganovs developed farming, hunting, saltworks, fishing, and ore mining in these areas. They built towns and fortresses and, at the same time, suppressed local unrest with the help of a small private army, and annexed new lands in the Urals and Siberia in favor of Russia. Semen Anikevich Stroganov and Aniky's grandsons Maxim Yakovlevich and Nikita Grigorievich financed Yurmak's Siberian campaign in 1581. During the period of Polish intervention in the early 17th century, the Stroganoffs offered humanitarian and military support to the Russian government, for which they received the title of Distinguished People in 1610. In the 17th century, the Stroganovs invested heavily in the salt industry in Solikamsk. In the 1680s, Grigory Dmitrievich Stroganov united all the scattered lands of the heirs of the children of Aniky Stroganov. He also annexed the salt works, which belonged to the Shustov and Filatyev families. In the 18th century, the Stroganovs established a number of ironworks and copper smelting factories in the Urals. A number of remarkable Baroque churches throughout Russia were built by the Stroganov family in the late 17th and early 18th century. They include the Cathedral of the Presentation of Mary in Solvychegodsk, Church of Our Lady of Kazan in Ust-Yuzhna, Church of Our Lady of Smolensk in Gordyuka, and the Church of the Synaxis of the Mother of God in Nizhny Novgorod. Baron Stroganov. During the Great Northern War of 1700 to 1721, the Stroganovs rendered sizable financial support to the government of Peter the Great, for which Alexander Grigorievich, Nikolai Grigorievich, and Sergei Grigorievich would be raised to the rank of baron in 1722 and later to that of count. From then on, the Stroganovs were members of the Russian aristocracy and held important government posts. Sergei Grigorievich played a significant role during the reign of Elizabeth Petrovna. His son Alexander Sergeyevich was a member of the Commission on elaborating the new code of laws during the reign of Catherine the Great. In the late 18th, early 19th century, he held different posts, such as president of the Russian Academy of Arts, art director of the Public Library, a member of the State Council. Pavel Alexandrovich Stroganov was a member of the Private Committee of Alexander I and assistant to the Minister of the Interior. Sergei Grigorievich Stroganov was the Governor-General of Moscow in 1859 to 1860. He founded Stroganov Moscow Arts and Industrial Institute in 1825. Alexander Grigorievich Stroganov was the Minister of the Interior in 1839 to 1841 and then a member of the State Council. Most of the Stroganoffs are known to have shown interest for art, literature, history, and archaeology. They used to own rich libraries, collections of paintings, coins, medals, etc. Stroganov Palace is among the chief sites of Nevsky Prospect in St. Petersburg. Modern times. After the Russian Revolution of 1917, the Stroganov family emigrated with the White Movement and all family property in Russia was nationalized. The Stroganoff Foundation, created in 1992 in New York as a not-for-profit corporation, is dedicated to the conservation and restoration of the Russian heritage of the Stroganov family. The establishment of the Stroganoff Foundation was the inspiration of Baroness Helene de Luddinghausen, who lives in Paris and whose mother, Princess Xenia Alexandrovna Shabatova Stroganova, was born in the Stroganoff Palace.